Morning, everyone, and welcome to my presentation. As you can see on the screen, our topic this morning is about RA11476, or the GMRC and Values Education Act. I am your presenter this morning, Lourdes May P. Macas. Senate Bill 860 has been enacted, and it is called Republic Act 11476 when former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte signed it on June 25, 2020. This is an act institutionalizing good manners and right conduct and values education in the K-12 curriculum, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. This act proves that this subject is considered as the heart of education. Section 1, short title. This act shall be known as the GMRC and Values Education Act. Section 2, Declaration of Policies. The state recognizes the vital role of the youth in nation building and promotes and protects their physical, moral, spiritual, intellectual, and social well-being. The state also recognizes the fundamental role of all educational institutions in the inculcation of patriotism and nationalism, fostering of love of humanity, respect of human rights, appreciation of the role of modern-day and national heroes in the historical development of country, teaching the rights and duties of citizenship, strengthening ethical and spiritual values, developing moral character and personal discipline, encouraging critical and creative thinking, broadening scientific and technological knowledge, and promoting vocational efficiency. Section 3, Definition of Terms. First is human dignity. This refers to the unique and inherent value or worth of human persons. It is intrinsic, hence innate, inviolable, inalienable, and universal. Solidarity, the option for the poor, care for creation, economic justice, and the common good are examples of values that are vital to any society built upon the dignity of human person. Next is values education. This refers to the process that provides young people internalization of values, which aims at students' grasp of underlying principles, together with the ability to act on those principles and the settled disposition to do so. It is also the different pedagogies, methods, or programs that teachers or educators use to create learning experiences for students when it comes to valuing processes, value positions, and value judgment. It is also learning about self and wisdom of life in a self-exploratory, systematic, and scientific way. Next is good manners and right conduct. This refers to certain and particular universally accepted basic social values and etiquette and proper modes of behavior that convey respect to those whom one interacts with. Manners are behaviors we use when we interact with others. We use good manners when we show respect, and it is important to use good manners every day at home, at school, and in the community. And some examples of good manners are saying please and thank you, waiting for your turn, and putting things back where they belong. Next is character building activities. This shall mean the actual and authentic learning activities wherein the character of the learners is formed, shaped, and built up. Section 4, Institutionalization of Good Manners and Right Conduct and Values Education in the K-12 Basic Education Curriculum. Good manners and right conduct and values education shall replace the existing edukasyon sa pagpapakatao curriculum and be institutionalized as follows. First, GMRC shall be taught from grades 1 to 6 as a separate subject with the same time allotment as the other core subjects, and shall be integrated in the daily learning activities in the kindergarten level. DepEd shall introduce a GMRC through clear, distinct, specific, and concrete character-building activities, such as role-playing in the classroom, community immersion activities, teacher-parent collaborative learning activities, school-initiated values formation activities, simulated activities, and other forms of experiential learning. GMRC shall inculcate among the students the concepts of human dignity, respect for oneself, and giving oneself to others in the spirit of community, for the effective and holistic development of the decision-making skills of the child. The curriculum shall also focus on the basic tenets of GMRC, such as caring for oneself, giving concern for others, according proper respect to people, upholding discipline and order, cultivating sincerity, honesty, obedience, and above all, love for country. Next, values education shall be taught from grades 7 to 10 as a separate subject with the same time allotment as the other core subjects. The subject shall also be delivered using clear, distinct, specific, and concrete character-building activities as prescribed in the immediately preceding subparagraph. At these grade levels, GMRC shall remain integrated in the teaching of values education. Next, values education shall be integrated in the teaching of the subjects in grades 11 and 12 under K-12 basic education curriculum. Again, GMRC and values education shall replace the existing edukasyon sa pagpapakatao curriculum. In grades 1 to 6, GMRC will be taught as a separate subject, and it will be integrated into daily activities in kindergarten. In grades 7 to 10, values education will be taught also as a separate subject. And grades 11 to 12, values education will be taught as through subject integration. And the enactment of GMRC or values education as a core subject means that, like English, math, and science, it will be taught with the same time allotment. Section 5. Coverage of values education. It is hereby mandated that values education shall be an integral and essential part of the DepEd's K-12 basic education curriculum. Values education as herein provided shall encompass universal human, ethical, and moral values among others. It shall inculcate among our students the basic tenets of the observance of respect for oneself, others, and our elders, intercultural diversity, gender equity, ecology, and integrity of creation, peace and justice, obedience to the law, nationalism and global citizenship, as well as the values of patience, perseverance, industry, honesty, and integrity, and good faith in dealing with other human beings along with all. Section 6. Teaching, Qualification, and Capacity Building for Teachers. Teachers with diploma, certification, and/or training in the field of values education or other allied disciplines shall be given preference in the teaching of this core subject. The DepEd shall carry out the appropriate training for teachers and educators on GMRC and values education, as well as provide them with the adequate and relevant instructional materials in order to develop and enhance their capacity to teach the subject. Section 7. Whole School Approach. For the effective institutionalization and teaching of GMRC and values education as a core subject, a whole school approach shall be adopted. And because whole school approach focuses on the responsibilities of every member of the school community to ensure all students have the opportunity to maximize their learning experience, this includes the school staff, parents, carers, and community members. This shall facilitate collaborative action in and by the school community and other stakeholders to foster parental involvement and develop home and school partnerships for an inclusive values education framework. Section 8. Annual Review and Assessment. The DepEd shall conduct an annual review of the institutionalization of GMRC and values education in the K-12 basic education curriculum to ensure its proper implementation and assess student learning outcomes for the purpose of determining its efficacy. The report shall be submitted to the Committees on Basic Education of both Houses of Congress within 30 days from the termination of the period of review and assessment. Next, Section 9, Implementing Agency. The DepEd shall be the lead agency in implementing the provision of this Act. Section 10, Appropriations. The amount necessary for the initial implementation of this Act shall be sourced from the current appropriations of the DepEd. Thereafter, the amount necessary for its continuous implementation shall be included in the Annual General Appropriations Act. Section 10, Implementing Rules and Regulations. Within 90 days after the effectivity of this Act, the DepEd, in consultation with relevant stakeholders, shall issue the necessary rules and regulations for its effective implementation. Section 12, Separability Clause. If any part or provision of this Act shall be held invalid or unconstitutional, the other parts or provisions hereof which are not affected shall remain in full force and effect. Section 13, Repealing Clause. All laws, decrees, rules, executive orders, and other administrative issuances and parts thereof which are inconsistent with this Act are hereby repealed, superseded, or modified accordingly. Section 14, Effectivity. This Act shall take effect 15 days after its publication in the Official Gazette or in a newspaper of general circulation. Now, we will move on to the implications and challenges of GMRC and Values Education Act. The internalization process. We teachers should provide in our values education classes a process wherein students can internalize values or good manners to take to heart and put into practice what is being taught. Like, what positive stories can serve as good examples of your lesson? Like a classmate who did something good, someone who is featured in the news, a fictional story with a good lesson, a hero in our history, a story in the Bible, a past experience of the pupils or the teacher. Another one is what negative stories can be opportunities to learn from mistakes, like for example, family problems, an incident at school, cyber crimes, accidents, natural calamities, and social issues. If the child can internalize the values, etiquettes, and proper modes of behavior when he is young, even if he grows up, he will more or less do the same when he grows up. It is said in the Bible, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Next is action-oriented. It is also important for the child to have action and for them to feel the value of applying what they have learned because it is useful in everyday life. For example, where can children see the real-life application of your lesson? At home, on the street, at school, in the store, in church, or in the internet? Or how can the children's output be used for good? Is it for everyday use at home, to use as a resource in the classroom or on campus, to sympathize with a friend, to address the problem in the community, to raise public awareness, to help the less fortunate? It is truly a huge challenge for us teachers. I'd just like to finish by remembering you that more than any credentials, practicing what he teaches is more necessary and more expected of our values education teachers. Walk your talk as he taught, and you will definitely qualify. Thank you so much everyone for watching, and may we all have a nice and productive day.